What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, everybody, check it out. I'm a little bit on the late freight when it comes to this story, but my voice wasn't operating fully yesterday, so I'm here to talk about it today. This article that came from Axios, exclusive, Disney making changes to its DEI efforts. Yeah, you knew this was going to be a topic that I was going to lend my thoughts to because we talk about this little three-letter acronym quite often on this channel, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Disney wasn't really about that life, as you can tell, because they're making changes. When you're making changes to your DEI efforts, that tells us one thing and one thing only. You was never about that life. And I've said that a whole lot. All right. It was all about pandering. It was all about virtue signaling. It was all about looking good while doing evil. They really never cared about diversity. They just wanted to look like they cared about diversity. And that's the reason why it came off as fake and phony and inauthentic. I always say this all the time. If you want to do, like, for instance, The Little Mermaid, the best way to do that, take some African mermaid stories and adapt those. Don't race swap Ariel, all right? Because that's not real diversity. You're not giving us anything for the black community. You're not doing anything for the black community. All you're doing is trying to virtue signal and pander to a bunch of morons that think this means something. It meant nothing. It meant nothing at all. And see, all of this fake, phony crap, I told you guys, it was all about looking good. It was all about pandering. They weren't really about that life. And so that's why they can, hey, let's change it real quick. Everybody come in. Let's change this whole board up. Let's move in a different direction. And you say, well, why are they moving in a different direction? Well, according to Deadline, they're overhauling their DEI efforts amid the Trump administration's purge. Now, listen, I think this definitely has something to do with it, all right? The Trump administration coming in and kind of cleaning up this DEI movement, all right, which is really just racism by a different name. Let's just call it what it is. It's just racism. But they're cleaning it up, and now Disney is taking this opportunity instead of, just going, you know what, this doesn't really make money anymore. Let's change up. Let's move the chess pieces around a little bit differently this time, all right? They're saying they're overhauling. It's really not an overhaul, but the reason they're doing it is because it no longer makes money, all right? There's two adages that we all know are in full operation right now. One is F around and find out, and number two is get woke, go broke. And see, they got woke and they went broke. And that's all it is to it. You already saw what they were doing with Inside Out. They had already made major changes to Inside Out. Why? Because they wanted to clean all the wokeness out. That had nothing to do with Trump. Trump wasn't even in office yet. So you can't say that they're making these changes because of Trump. I think it has something to do with it. At least they're using that as their convenient excuse to do it now. But the reality is that DEI doesn't make money. It's losing the money hand over fist. And that is the reason why they said, you know what? Let's just go ahead and use this opportunity to pull the plug. Let's change everything around, especially on that Reimagine Tomorrow bullshit. All right, we're going to get to that in just a moment. But yeah, going back to this article, here's some of the things that they're saying about it. Disney is changing its diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI programs to focus more closely on business outcomes. Well, what's business outcomes? So business outcomes is money. All right. We need to make money off of this. We can no longer afford to lose money sinking it away on some diversity, equity, and inclusion projects. They don't make money. That's the bottom line. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, according to a note sent to employees Tuesday and obtained by Axios. So here's the question, all right? The employees, you remember the whole situation with that parental rights and education bill out there in Florida, and all of the activist employees, right? It was the activist employees that were kicking up the most dust. You know, when Bob Chapek said, hey, we're not getting involved with that whole situation, that parental rights and education bill, that is not something I'm going to talk about. And then all of a sudden, the employees went wild. Everybody started losing their minds. And that's when Bob Chapek decided to backtrack and make some sort of a statement, got his company in all kinds of hot water. You see where it's at now. They lost Reedy Creek. They lost everything, thanks to the activist employees. Now, maybe on the other side of that, maybe they fired some of those people. I don't know. But that's who you got to watch out for, because if they're getting rid of all of these DEI programs and those activist employees are still in the mix, yeah, they're going to be kicking up some more dust. They're going to have something to say. So I'm looking to see if any Disney employees are going to get out there and start marching and start picketing and start whining, crying, and complaining about these DEI programs going to dust. Now, there's also the other half of it. You know, this is where I put on my conspiracy hat and say, yeah, they might have told this, they might have sent this note out to the employees and let Axios get a copy of it. But then behind closed doors, they're like, hey, look, everybody, look, bring it in, okay? We not really changing shit. We just want them to think we changing shit, okay? The reality is, man, we just going to shuffle the deck. We're going to move our DEI programs around this way and that way. All right. It's like a shell game. All right. You know, you move the shells around. The marble ain't under this shell no more. Nope, it's over under here. But we just got to move it around real quick so that everybody can't see it. That's how we doing it. All right. So it might still be DEI programs in full effect, but they're shell gaming it around. They're moving it so that people can't really keep track of where it's at and what's going on. All right. So that might be the situation. We'll have to see. It says, as a part of the shift, sources tell Axios Disney is moving and changing the content disclaimers it started releasing around certain titles in 2020. Yeah, see, that's the other picture. All right. You had these content disclaimers. This was on Variety. Disney Plus to change content warnings ahead of Dumbo, Peter Pan, and more old movies amid DEI strategy shift. Yeah. So you remember those content warnings that they would put up in front of certain movies? You know, basically talking to you like you 5 years old, like you can't understand that this shit was made at a different time in a different era where certain things were more allowable than others and you can't put two and two together. So they got to tell you that shit. Yeah, that's basically what was happening. Disney is adjusting the content warnings ahead of some of its old movies, including Peter Pan and Dumbo, amid an overall shift in DEI strategy at the company following President Donald Trump taking office again. That ain't got nothing to do with it. Again, this stuff wasn't making them any money. People have been pulling the plug. We just saw 750,000 people or whatever it was pulled the plug on Disney Plus. They canceled Disney Plus because, hey, people are just kind of tired not only of paying extra money, all right, paying all of this extra money when there's really no content on the program, but then also stuff like this. It's like, man, look, I can just buy the discs and the movies myself. I don't need Disney Plus to sit up here and preach to me. So as first reported by Axios and confirmed by Variety, Disney is changing the disclaimer that autoplays before these titles. The previous version noted that the film includes negative depictions and or mistreatments of peoples or cultures, while the new version reads, this program is presented as originally created and may contain stereotypes or negative depictions. I didn't need either one of these, to be honest with you. All right? Both of these just feels like they talking down to you like you can't understand that shit. Yeah, we know that Dumbo and Peter Pan and all of these movies was made in like the 40s and the 50s, and times were different. We get it. We don't need to be told that, oh yeah, this isn't really like how people work now, how people talk to each other now. You know, parents can explain this to their kids. I don't need Disney to explain this to me. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. But I guess some butthurt people over there at Disney needed the company to talk to you like you were 5. And so now they're using this one, which again, it's just unnecessary. It's just really unnecessary. No need to go into all of that nonsense. Hey, look, here's the movie. All right. If you can't figure out that this is different than the way we do things now, then you know what? You got to get some help or something, man, because this is not that big of a deal. But anyway, that's where Disney is at. They're doing small little things like this. That's why I say it doesn't feel like this is a major shift, like little small shifts here and there. The real thing is going to be the content. All right. Like how they pulled the plug on the trans storyline in Win or Lose, that Pixar joint that's about to come out. I think it's coming out this month. They pulled the plug on that. And so that's going to be really where you see the changes in the DEI stuff, you know. And then when you get to, you know, things like Reimagine Tomorrow, you guys remember this whole situation with Reimagine Tomorrow. This lady, let me just play it in case you guys weren't aware of what was going on.
The showrunners were super welcoming, Meredith Roberts, and like our leadership over there has been so welcoming to like my like not at all secret gay agenda. And so like I feel like I felt like it was, I mean, like maybe it was that way in the past, but I guess like something must have happened in the last, like they are turning it around, they're going hard. And then all that like momentum that I felt, like that sense of, I don't have to be afraid to like, let's have these two characters kiss. Let's in the background, like I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness to like if you see anything queer in the show, I'm proud family. But like, I just was like, no one would stop me and no one was trying to stop me.
Yeah, nobody was trying to stop her. She was just going ham, just throwing queerness everywhere and all of that stuff in the kids' program, and they didn't care. All right. And parents tuned out. Parents were done with it. That was all of this stuff right up here. Reimagine Tomorrow. Yeah, this is outro. This is Ghost. It's gone. It's Audi 5000. They're not doing this no more. Why? It's because we ain't with the not at all secret gay agenda in our kids' programming. All right. And she calls it exactly what it was. It was an agenda, all right? There was a purpose behind what it is that she was doing. And so parents said, you know what? I'm done with it. I'm not going to these Disney movies no more. I'm gonna pull the plug on Disney Plus. And next thing you know, Disney's losing money. Disney's not making the bread they used to make. And so now, what do we got to do? Oh, well, it's time to pull the plug. All right. It's time to overhaul some shit. Again, they're using Trump as the convenient excuse, but the reality is, and it goes right back over here to what it says here, business outcomes. It's about making money. They got to keep the focus on the business outcomes. If nobody's showing up to see Strange World, even though you dropped 200 million on that, if nobody's showing up to see Lightyear because you dropped 200 million on that, and then even with the race swap Little Mermaid, hey, that thing lost money. We just got through talking about that. It lost money. Snow White is about to lose money. It's a ton of money. All right. These aren't little losses. These are huge losses. They got to start changing things up. And that means, all right, look, this ain't working no more, guys. All right. We tried. We gave it a full college effort and we put everything into it that we could. But at the end of the day, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. We got to start focusing on these business outcomes. We got to get our stock price back up through the roof. See, this is about the shareholders. But they're going to use the Trump administration as the convenient excuse to start really doing things. And so when all of their, employees and their activists start whining and crying, they're going to say, hey, man, you know, we can do, man. Trump took office, man. He's starting to put the pressure, So we had to make some things, different this time. But at the end of the day, they knew that they wasn't making money. So I say it's really both. All right. I think there was some stuff from the Trump side, but I also think that they ain't making money anymore and they need to get back to the bottom line, which is making money for the company. That's all it is to it. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Yeah, it's a slow walk, though. Don't think by any means this is over. I still think that shell game is in full effect right now for Disney. They're just going to shift some things around, try to hide it for a little bit, and they're going to push it off. But I do think also that they, at least from a forward-facing standpoint, what they're putting out in their content, that's where we're going to have to see some changes. And if that doesn't change, then all of this other nonsense that they're doing is not going to make any difference, all right? Pulling a content warning. I say, all right, well, don't have any of these messages and, pull these messages off the movies. That's not going to make any difference. It's going to be the content. And if you're trying to girl boss all of your your Disney princesses, like they're about to do with Snow White, if you're going to girl boss them all, you're still going to lose money. You can pull all of the content warnings off that you want. Eventually they're going to have to get back to making good movies and good television programming for families, because that's Disney's number one customer, families. All right. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.